The worst part isn't what I saw at the end of that hallway. The worst part is what I found out afterward. That the man I'd watched move closer to me every single shift, every single night, had been dead for 6 hours when I first laid eyes on him.
I'm an orderly at a regional hospital in Western Pennsylvania. I've worked the night shift, 11 to 7, for going on 3 years. If you haven't spent time in a hospital after midnight, let me tell you what the job posting leaves out. It's not peaceful the way you might expect. The wings that had 40 people moving through them at noon get down to 4 or 5 by 2 in the morning. The overhead lights hum differently once the day crowd clears out. The corridors feel like they go on farther than they should, and your footsteps start to sound like they're coming from somewhere behind you. Most nights are the same as the night before. Move linen, check supply rooms, swap out equipment, log everything, go home when the shift ends. I'd made real peace with it. I liked being useful without anyone hovering. I liked knowing what the next 4 hours looked like. Then February came and all of that changed. It started on a Tuesday around 2 in the morning. I was pushing a linen cart down C wing when I saw him at the far end of the corridor. A man in a hospital gown, barefoot, standing at the spot where the hallway curved out of sight. My first thought was wandering patient. That happens overnight more than people realize, especially in the elder care and cardiac wards. I called out that I could help him back to his room. He turned slowly and walked around the corner. I radioed it in. A nurse on the east side did a sweep and found nothing. We both wrote it off. In 3 years on nights, I'd had explanations for everything that didn't make sense on first look. The door that opened by itself turned out to be a pressure differential. The voice down the hall turned out to be a TV left on. I told myself this would be the same.
2 nights later, same corridor, but he was closer, standing under one of the overhead lights, maybe 30 feet from me. I could make out his face now heavy, slack-jawed, eyes half open in the wet, unfocused where you see in patients on heavy sedation. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking just past me, at the space above my left shoulder. I said, "Hey." I took a step toward him. He turned and pushed through the door to room C14. I followed immediately, and the room was empty. Stripped bed, dark, completely still. I checked the patient log the next morning. No one had been in C14 for 13 days. The room had been cleared out and was just sitting idle. I had no explanation for it. I wrote it somewhere in the back of my mind as something to watch, and I tried to let it go. I kept a closer eye on the corridors for the next week and saw nothing. Then on a Wednesday night, I was running supplies down the basement service corridor, the long, institutional stretch most of the night staff actively avoid. Stretcher bays lined up along the walls and the light fixtures spaced too far apart to do much good. I came around a corner and almost walked directly into him, 5 feet away from me. That close, I could see the grain of his skin, the gray, dry, slightly powdery looking. His jaw hung open just a fraction. He had no smell. Not antiseptic, not the human warmth of someone standing close to you. Nothing at all. His eyes found mine. I felt something physical, a drop in my stomach, like I'd missed a step in the dark. Then he turned and walked straight into the wall. Solid concrete block, not a door, not an alcove, just the wall, gone.
I didn't sleep that morning. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time before I could even think about lying down. I kept seeing his face, the gray skin, the slack jaw, the smell of absolutely nothing. So before my next shift, I drove in early and I found a nurse I'd worked alongside for 2 years, someone I trusted, and I asked her if she'd pull the C wing patient log with me. I told her I thought I recognized someone from an old shift and wanted to confirm. She trusted me enough not to ask too many questions. It took us about 15 minutes to find him. Gerald Harmon, 61 years old, admitted 8 days before my first sighting with a cardiac event. Transferred to the ICU 4 nights in. Pronounced dead at 9:40, 7 p.m. on that first Tuesday, hours before I watched him turn the corner and disappear.
The last night of my shift that week, I was alone in the third floor break room at 4 in the morning. Sitting with a cup of coffee I wasn't really tasting. I looked up from the table and he was standing in the doorway, 3 feet from me. His head was tilted slightly to one side. His eyes were fully open now, pale, very dry, and they were fixed on me directly, not past me. On me, his mouth moved. Just once, a single slow, deliberate movement of the lips. I heard absolutely nothing, no sound in the room at all. But I watched his mouth, and I have spent months since then turning over what that movement could have been. I stood up from the chair. I backed against the far wall. I kept my eyes on him, and I did not blink. After what felt like a very long time, 20 seconds, maybe a little more, he was gone. I put in for a transfer the following week. Different unit, different wing, day shift. I told my supervisor it was a personal scheduling preference, and she didn't push back. I haven't seen him since. But there's one thing I can't fully set down, one detail that stays with me. When I looked at Gerald Harmon's file, the emergency contact line at the top of his admission form was blank. No family. No next of kin listed anywhere in the record. He spent the last days of his life alone in a hospital room, and when he died, nobody came. I think about that more than I probably should. I don't know what he wanted from me. I don't know what he was saying in that doorway. But some nights when I can't sleep, I almost wish I'd been able to hear him.